It was the start of a new semester at Crestwood High School, a prestigious institution with a long history dating back to the early 1900s. The school was known for its rigorous academics and impressive architecture. However, it was also infamous for the mysterious events that had plagued it for decades. As the new term began, a group of friends, Sarah, Mark, Emily, and David, were excited to start their senior year. They had heard the rumors about the school's haunted past, but had always dismissed them as mere stories to scare freshmen. Crestwood High had its share of legends, most famous being the tale of Miss Agatha, a strict teacher who had died under mysterious circumstances in the 1920s. On the first day of school, the friends were assigned to Miss Henderson's homeroom, located in one of the oldest wings of the building. The classroom had an eerie feel, with its high ceilings, creaky wooden floors, and antique desks. As they settled into their seats, they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. During the first week, strange things began to happen. Books would fall off shelves without explanation, and the temperature in the room would drop suddenly, leaving the students shivering. Sarah noticed that the clock on the wall would occasionally stop at exactly 3:15 p.m., the rumored time of Miss Agatha's death. One evening, Sarah stayed late to finish an art project. As she worked alone in the dimly lit classroom, she heard faint footsteps echoing down the empty hallway. Nervously, she called out, but there was no response. Gathering her belongings, she quickly left the classroom, heart pounding in her chest. The following day, Sarah shared her experience with her friends. Mark, always the skeptic, laughed it off. "It's just your imagination," said. Emily, on the other hand, was intrigued. She had always been fascinated by the paranormal and suggested they investigate further. That night, 4 friends returned to the school armed with flashlights and a Ouija board Emily had borrowed from her cousin. They sneaked into the classroom, their footsteps echoing through the silent hallways. The air was thick with tension as they arranged themselves around the Ouija board. "Is there anyone here with us?" Emily asked, her voice trembling slightly. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the planchette began to move. It spelled out yes. The friends exchanged nervous glances. "Who are you?" David asked. Planchette moved again, this time spelling Agatha. Chill ran down their spines. Sarah felt a cold breeze brush past her, and the candles they had lit flickered wildly. "Why are you here?" Mark asked, still skeptical but visibly uneasy. Planchette moved quickly, spelling help, repeatedly. Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted, and the sound of a woman sobbing filled the air. Friends jumped to their feet, knocking over the board in their haste. The next day, the friends decided to research Miss Agatha's history. They visited the local library and scoured old newspapers and school records. They discovered that Agatha Collins had been a beloved but strict teacher, who mysteriously disappeared one night. Her body was never found, and her disappearance remained unsolved. The more they learned, the more they realized that Agatha's spirit was trapped in the school, seeking justice for her untimely death. They found accounts from former students and teachers who had experienced similar disturbances over the years. Each story mentioned the same eerie feeling of being watched, an unexplained cold spot. Determined to help Miss Agatha find peace, the friends decided to continue their investigation. They believed that if they could uncover the truth about her death, they might be able to free her spirit. One evening, while searching through the school's archives in the basement, Sarah stumbled upon a dusty, old map of the school. It showed a hidden room located behind the wall of their homeroom. Excited by the discovery, she rushed to tell her friends. That night, they gathered their tools and returned to the classroom. Using the map as a guide, they found a loose panel in the wall and pried it open, revealing a narrow passageway. Heart pounding, they squeezed through the opening and found themselves in a small, forgotten room. The room was filled with old furniture, dusty books, and cobwebs. In the corner, they found a large, locked chest. Emily's hands shook as she picked the lock, and the lid creaked open to reveal a collection of personal items: letters, photographs, and a diary. The diary belonged to Agatha Collins. As Sarah read aloud, they learned about her life at Crestwood High. The entries were filled with descriptions of her students, her love for teaching, and her hopes for the future. But as they neared the final entries, the tone grew darker. Agatha wrote about a growing sense of unease, mentioning strange occurrences and a feeling of being watched. She described a colleague, Mr. Thompson, who had become increasingly hostile and threatening towards her. The final entry detailed a confrontation with Mr. Thompson on the night of her disappearance. Thompson confronted me in the classroom today. He accused me of spreading rumors about him. I fear for my safety. If anything happens to me, let it be known that Thompson is responsible. The friends exchanged horrified glances. They had uncovered the truth. Agatha had been murdered by Mr. Thompson, and her spirit had been trapped in the school ever since. Armed with this new information, the friends decided to seek justice for Agatha. They contacted the local authorities and shared their findings, including the diary and the hidden room. The police reopened the case and launched an investigation into Mr. Thompson, who had since retired and moved away. As the investigation progressed, more evidence surfaced linking Mr. Thompson to Agatha's disappearance. Witnesses came forward, and old records corroborated the diary's accounts. Eventually, Mr. Thompson was arrested and charged with Agatha's murder. With Mr. Thompson in custody, the friends returned to Crestwood High one last time. They gathered in the classroom, hoping to communicate with Agatha's spirit and let her know that justice had been served. "Miss Agatha, we found the truth," Sarah said, her voice breaking. "Mr. Thompson has been arrested. In rest now." For a moment, there was silence. Then a soft, warm light filled the room. The friends felt a comforting presence, and the sound of gentle laughter echoed around them. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, replaced by a sense of peace and calm. As they left the classroom, Sarah glanced back and saw a faint, smiling figure standing by the window. It was Agatha, her face serene and full of gratitude. She watched as the friends walked away, her spirit finally free. In the weeks that followed, the story of Agatha Collins spread throughout the school, and the local community high was no longer haunted by her tragic past. Friends were hailed as heroes for uncovering the truth and bringing closure to the decades-old mystery. Life returned to normal, and the friends focused on their studies, preparing for graduation. They remained close, bonded by the extraordinary experience they had shared. Sarah continued to pursue her love of art, Mark embraced his newfound belief in the paranormal, Emily delved deeper into her studies of the supernatural, David wrote about their adventure, hoping to share their story. Years later, Crestwood High commemorated Agatha Collins with a memorial plaque in the classroom where she had taught. Her story became a part of the school's history, a reminder of the importance of seeking the truth and standing up for justice. Sarah, Mark, Emily, and David often returned to visit their old school, remembering the time they had spent together and the spirit they had helped to free. They knew that Crestwood High would always hold a special place in their hearts, a place where they had faced their fears and emerged stronger. The school, once shrouded in mystery and fear, became a place of learning and hope. Students walked the halls without the sense of dread that had once lingered, and the legend of Miss Agatha became a story of courage and resilience. And so, the haunting of Crestwood High became a legend, passed down through generations, a tale of friendship, bravery, and the enduring power of truth.